Hello everybody, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy VI Advance. We are continuing on with the storyline here with Cyan and Sabin, and we are about to jump into Barren Falls, which is the entranceway to the Veldt. Now your original option choices here were why not for yes, and you crazy for no, and I like those better. Now, Cyan and Sabin being real men, of course, jump into the falls. I'm not sure if I would have actually jumped into a waterfall, but that's me. And on your way down, you're going to have to fight a series of groups of 2 or 3 of these Omnicus fish, or what used to be called piranhas. They're not tough. Their attacks really don't do much damage, and as you're seeing, they go down with one shot, either from a Blitz or from a Bushido. So just keep it up. Keep blitzing and Bushido as your turns come up, and you'll burn through these groups really quickly. The main difficulty of this part is not having a seizure from that background. I kid, of course, but that's really hard to look at. So after you beat 4 or 5 groups of these guys, you will have to fight a boss fish. You can tell it's the boss fish because he is a different color than the rest. The old palette swap. Boss isn't very tough either. Although it does have a couple more powerful attacks. It has a lightning attack. I think it can use ice as well. And I think it has a multi-party water attack. So here he is. Rizal Pass. Hit him a couple times. And there he goes already. 2 shots. Way to go. So now we find out if we survive this plunge. Hopefully. I guess that means we survived. I do like this. I think it's more realistic than, you know, them just landing, for example, on the land there. And that theme music means we get our new character. This is Gau, and he is one of my least favorite characters in the game. Gau tends to be a very polarizing character. Some people really consider him to be very powerful and really like using him a lot. I personally do not, and I will get into that later when we start exploring Gau's abilities. For now, he's not even in our party yet, so our first order of business is to try to figure out how to get him in our party. And also to listen to this real head-bopping music. The theme for the Veldt is one of my favorites in the game. Now the enemies you fight on the Veldt are actually all of the enemies you've faced so far in the game. So any enemy group that you have either beaten or run from in the game will eventually show up on the Veldt. They arrive in different packs of creatures, and basically you have to wait it out, and eventually you'll cycle through all the different packs that you've encountered already. So our goal was to get over here to the town of Mobliz, and we did that. So let's head on in. Well, maybe you should have a different way of getting to your town other than going down a waterfall. So let's look at the new weapons and armor. And you see Gau down there already. So he's technically a part of our party even though he's not. And we do have a multi-party battle coming up. So it's good to buy some items for your other party members. I'm basically just going to buy enough for my 3 main characters now. Cyan, Sabin, and Gau. That's good. And there's also new weapons. Now, with Sabin and Cyan, you don't really need to upgrade their weapons because their special abilities are not based on their weapon power. But I like to anyway, just to have their strongest equipment on. Gao cannot equip a weapon. Our next goal is to figure out how we can actually acquire Gao. I don't think there are any items over here. Nope. So let's talk to a couple people in town here. Ah, so the kid runs with a pack of enemies. Or creatures. And if you talk to this guy, threw some dried meat, and a kid grabbed it. So what you need to do is buy some dried meat. And then go out on the veldt and fight until you encounter Gao. And then use the dried meat to get him to join your party. Another thing you can find here in town is a little demonstration of the Serpent Trench. This is a waterway that connects the veldt to our next destination, which is a town up to the northwest. And we're going to be riding that in a little while. After we find a diving helmet. This house is a post office or courier, and it's part of a little side quest. So grab the elixir, and if you head up here to the north, you'll find a relic shop, and you'll find two 16-year-olds in love. What a magical time in their life to stare at each other and not say anything. That's love for you, I guess. This relic shop does sell white capes, so I like to buy at least one more. And you actually get a free heal in the back. So you don't have to use the inn, which is pretty pricey. So you do save quite a bit of Jill. So that's about it. Let's go get Gao. I'm going to move the dried meat up so I can easily access it. Okay. Here, little Gao, Gao, Gao. Will we get him on the first try? What do you think? He doesn't show up after every battle. There is a chance that he will. So maybe we'll get lucky. We did! Yay! So don't attack him. If you hit him, he'll run away again. And you'll have to do another battle. Instead, use dried meat on him. And he freaks out. He is peculiar. He was raised by animals after all. You may have remembered the old man when we started Sabin's scenario talking about throwing kids onto the veldt for misbehaving. Keep that in mind because it'll come back later in the game when we explore Gao's background a little bit more. Sabin and Gao don't really hit it off. So they have to test each other. Jeez. Fall for trick. Not sure what that means. Simmer down, sirs. I know Cyan goes a little bit crazy with the thous. which Gao, being basically a child, reacts to. Starts mimicking him, and that kind of gets to Cyan. It makes you wonder how Gao would even understand a concept of a family and death and things like that, having been raised by animals. You'd think he wouldn't be able to communicate very well. A present, huh? Well, I certainly do enjoy presents. Wow, sounds shiny. Mr. Thou. I bet he is gonna be jealous. He's not a bad guy, but he might try to steal your treasure. He is a thief after all. It's a lot of blinking Sabin. So we have to find Crescent Mountain. That's where the shiny thing is. Well, sounds like a plan. Let's head on out. It's always good to have more people in your group. Nice little moonwalk there. And now we get a little tutorial on how to use Gao. And we get an imp this time instead of Mog. So what you need to do to build up Gao's skills, which is called Rage, is fight on the Veldt. And you use a special command called Leap whenever you fight here, and Gao will leap onto the enemy group. And you keep fighting, and a little bit later he'll come back. And whatever enemy group he leapt onto, and whatever enemy group he comes back after, you will get special abilities from. But not any of the groups in between. So if you fight a couple battles, like 2 or 3 in between, when he goes and comes, he won't get those abilities. Just the ones from when he leapt and when he comes back. And when you use those abilities, Gao becomes uncontrollable. And he either attacks physically, or he uses a special ability as a 50-50 shot. And that's part of the reason why I don't really like Gao, because there's so much randomness kind of involved in his abilities, and there are so many abilities. He can basically learn abilities from just about every character or every enemy in the game. So it's a lot to kind of keep in mind. Now, I'm not going to show you building up his abilities. I feel like that's kind of grindy-ish. So what I'm going to do is in between these videos, I'm going to do that, and then I'll talk about it. To end this video, I'm going to show you this little side quest. Talk to this injured soldier, and there's a series of letters from his sweetheart. And you can actually help him out by writing letters on his behalf and sending them through the courier. It requires a lot of money and some time to do that. And the item you get is not the greatest, so it's really up to you if you want to do that or not. I'm not going to do it at this time. Instead, I'm going to go get some abilities for Gao. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.